One. Good morning, sixth grade Summer Academy.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Canelo.
Good morning,
And baby Selena, right?
Hi.
All right. So this morning we got the following students that showed up. Dorlissa, good morning. Omar, good morning. Jamie, good morning. Lorenzo, good morning. Blessing, good morning. Carlton, good morning. Daniel, good morning. Evelyn, good morning. Isaiah, good morning. Jaden, good morning. Janaea, good morning. Jaden F, good morning. Leilani, good morning again. And Taris, good morning. So folks, today it is Tuesday, July 7th of 2020. Today we will review how to add and subtract fractions with the same and different denominators. Okay, so this week is all about fractions. On Thursday, we will have a practice quiz that we will do together, and then I'll help you with your assessment. That way you can all do well when it goes on Google Classroom. So I'm gonna pull up what we're gonna be working on today. In the meantime, please write your first and last name and circle the class that you're in so that you can get your credit when it's due, which is gonna be on Thursday. You're gonna have it due to me by 4 p.m. or preferably right after you finish ELA because you have that hour off to get me the work. It's very simple. If you come to the class every day and you do the packet, it's an easy 100. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you folks. All right. Excuse me. Ooh, sorry, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm just pulling up the packet. That way we can work. And remember, there are 2 assignments. There's the survey that was due, and there's also the exit ticket if you didn't do it from yesterday. Let me pull up today's packet. It's in the PDF in Google Classroom. Again, you do not need to have the hard copy. Everything is digital. All right. Let's start with Mr. Lorenzo Cruz. I need you to read me the learning target, please.
I can add and subtract fractions with the same and different denominators by using two real-world situations.
Okay.
Nani,
So
right?
we're going to be adding and subtracting fractions with the same and different denominators. Now, Lorenzo, read to me where it says lesson notes. What does it say? Today's scholars.
Today's scholars, we will review adding and subtracting fractions with the same and different denominators with and without visual.
All right. Lorenzo, the first word, fraction. What does it say?
Number less than 1. Numerator is the top number from a fraction. Denominator is the bottom number of a fraction. Simplify, reduce, to make it smaller, put in lowest terms by finding the greatest common factor.
All right. So, Lorenzo, we have to take away today that when we're dealing with fractions that have the same denominator, sometimes we're going to have to simplify, guys. That means make it smaller. And sometimes we have to find the common denominator, the LCD. So let's look at steps on finding the common denominator, okay? So step 1, when the denominators are different, you have to find a denominator that's the same. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to find the LCM, the least common multiple, or the LCD, the least common denominator. Once you have that, you have to convert that by multiplying, and then you're going to either add or subtract and simplify if needed. So for today's lesson, we're going to refer back to page 1 to this nice colorful visual that I have on my screen, and yours is in black and white unless you printed it in color. All right. Leilani, we're going to have you go first. We're on page 2, problems 1 and 2. Can you read me 1? What does it say? What does it say to do, kid?
Simplify the following fractions.
Okay. So talk to me. What does the fraction say? 4/8. So remember, we got to find.
2/4.
Okay, what did you divide by?
You divide by 2.
Divide by 4?
2.
2. Okay, so let's see if she does that. Let me just, I'm going to actually, where's my screen? Okay, give me a second because I have to like constantly change the pen. Okay, here she says if you divide the top and bottom by 2, right? On the top and bottom, divide everything by 2.
I like doing math.
Okay, hold on, Lorenzo, please don't call out. So what's 4 divided by 2?
4 divided by 2 times.
4 divided by 2 is 2.
Is 2.
And 8 divided by 2 is
4.
okay, but Leilani, can I make 2/4 smaller? Can I break that down again? Can I simplify? Yes. What can I divide both 2 and 4 by? What number goes in evenly?
Miss, you're breaking up on mine.
I'm sorry. Shh. What can I divide both 2 and 4 by?
1.
1 or 2?
No.
What can I divide by? You did it the first time, 2, right, sweetie?
2.
Right. So now, this is the same as 1 half. So 4/8 is the same as 2/4 are equal to 1 half, right? So 1 half would actually be, if I divided all this would be a half, and that would be the other part. All right.
Can you mute Lorenzo?
I am muted. Oh.
Hold on a minute. Hold on, because now I got to stop for a second. All right. Just control yourself, please. Okay, you're making it difficult. Just everybody control themselves. Okay. All right. So let's get started here. All right, let me go hit stop. All right, let's do the next one. The next one says, and Leilani, I would like for you to take control of this one because you did a really good job. I got 4/16, Leilani, and the rest of you. Remember, we're going to find the numbers that can go into both 4 and 16. So what number can I divide 4 and 16 by, Leilani?
4. Wait.
Oh, yes. So, right, you found the greatest common factor, which is 4. And I divide the top and bottom by 4. Therefore, Leilani, what is the new fraction equal to, kiddo?
No, that's 4. That's 1/4.
Good job. 1, excellent. 1/4. Okay, let's look at my friend 6/9, Leilani. What can I divide 6 and 9 by? Same number. What's the greatest number that goes into 6 and 9?
6 and 9.
Comes after 2.
3.
Right. So we're going to divide everything by 3. So 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom, which now gives me what? What's the new fraction, Leilani? 6 divided by 2.
3.
Yes, 2 what? 2 what? 2.
2/3.
Excellent. 2/3. Again, all we did, I'm going to type up a type up note here, is what we did is when you simplify, we are actually reducing to, we're reducing to lowest terms by finding the greatest number that goes, into the numerator. And please write these notes down. You're going to need them for when you take your assessment on Thursday. And we actually are dividing. Key. And that's what that means. Again, we are going to be simplifying, which means reducing to the lowest terms by finding the greatest number. That goes both into the numerator and denominator, and you're dividing, because a fraction is division, as Leilani already told us. I'm going to give you guys another moment or two.
Give me a
And
minute.
then we're going to do the second question on page 2. And then the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. It should be pretty quick. Listen, mute yourself, okay? It's a distraction right now. Don't make me do it for you. I'm pretty sure you can have some self-control, right? All right, so we're going to erase this blue part now because I want to do the bottom part. All right, so I'm going to erase all the pink stuff that Leilani and I just did. All right, now we're going to do the bottom part. All right. So Evelyn. Okay, Evelyn, can you read me problem 2 where it says Miss Canella?
Miss Canella created the following equivalent fractions: 1/2, 3/6, 4/8. Fill in the blanks to create equivalent fractions. You may use the pictures to guide you.
Okay. So what are we going to do here? We want to know Evelyn, if I'm at 2/3, first of all, let's draw what 2/3 looks like on our chart, all right? Again, my drawings are not the best right now. If I was in school, they would be more accurate, but I'm just gonna try my best. So this is 2/3. And I'm gonna go from 3 times what is 6? Who can tell me? Evelyn, 3 times what is 6?
2.
2. So if I multiply the bottom by 2, guess what I do to the numerator? Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the
Top.
top. So if I multiply 2 on the bottom, I multiply 2 on the top. So 2 times 2 is
4.
4. So let's divide this into 6 now. So this is what it's going to look like. This is thirds. Okay, Lorenzo, and I did this special for you because I know you like art. We have some artwork here for you, Lorenzo. All right, so now we're going to shade in 4, 1, 2. You can shade it in later, 3, just kind of 4. So does everyone see that 2/3 in red is the same as what I shaded in blue? Now, we want to go from, look at the blue now. Actually, I'm going to do an arrow here. I know it's a little messy. I'm sorry. So we want to go from 2 to 6. How do I get from 2 to 6 where my arrow is? What do I have to multiply by, Evelyn? From 2 times what is 6?
3.
3. So if I multiply 2 times 3 to get 6, I then multiply 3 times 3 and I get what?
9.
Excellent job. So you already know how to do this. Nothing, oops. There's nothing here that's not new to you. You've already seen this stuff before. We're just reviewing because this is very important to know for 7th grade. All right, so we're going to divide this now into 9 parts. So we're going to go 3. And we're going to do it again because then this would give me 6. And again, Lorenzo, this is for you, this lesson. And then 6, we need to get 3 more. We have 7, maybe 8, and maybe 9. And I'm going to shade in with orange. I'm going to shade in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know my art skills are not the best. I'm sorry. Sorry, Lorenzo. Okay, there we go. There's the equivalent fractions. So 2/3 is the same as 4/6, which is the same as 6/9. To give you a moment to write that down. And we're going to change it in 3, in 2, in 1. All right, let's move on now. In 3, in 2, folks, we're doing really good. Let's keep this momentum. We had a good day yesterday. Let's have another good day today for me. We're on our way to earning good scores right now. Let's keep this up. Okay, I'm going to erase it all. All right, we're going to move on now to question 3. If you're daring, you can try question 3 on your own, or you can wait for us to do. Oh, this is pretty straightforward. Who's this over here? Hold on a minute. Let me go and see if I can unmute somebody. Let's do Omar, unmute yourself. And then we're going, Omar, unmute yourself. And Taris, unmute yourself. All right. So we're going to have Omar go first, followed by Taris. I'm going to go back and share my screen. Okay, Omar, problem 3. Can you read me the directions? What does it say to do?
Find the same or different for each fraction shown below. Show always reduce, simplify if needed.
Okay. So Omar, when we're adding fractions with the same denominator, we actually keep the denominator.
Yes.
And then we add the numerators. So 1 plus 2 is how much, Omar?
3/5.
3/5, right? The reason why we keep the 5 is why, Omar?
Because it has the same denominator.
Good. So we're going to write a little note here. There's what it looks like on the visual. So we're going to write same denominator we keep. Same, please write these notes. Same denominator means you keep it and you either add or subtract. Which now means that on number 4, Omar, we're subtracting. So 4/6 minus 3/6 is how much?
1/6.
Right. Why is it 1/6 again? Tell everybody.
Cause they same denominator means keep and add or subtract.
Right. So as we just said before, this applies to that. So now let's do number 5. In a moment, I'm going to change the paper. In 3, in 2. Let me erase this now. It's pretty straightforward what we had to do here. All right, now this is where it gets a little tricky, guys, but I'm pretty sure you can do it. Now here, Omar, what do we notice about the denominators? Are they the same or are they different? What do you notice?
They're different.
Okay, so when the denominators are different, do you remember what we said to do on page 1? What did it say you have to find on page 1 of your packet?
Um,
You have to find the what? 3 letters. Find the LC, the least common denominator, right?
yeah.
Is the least common denominator. Okay, which is what is also called the LCD. So Omar, one denominator is 2, one denominator is 6. Which fraction do I have to make the denominator be 6 equal to? The 1/2 or the 2/6?
The 1/2.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's do this now. Let me just stop this part and now let's convert the 1/2 to make a fraction of 6. All right. So how am I going to get the 2 to become a 6? What do I do to go from 2 to 6?
You do 2 times 3, and then you do like 2 times 3 equals 6.
Okay. Keep going.
And then 1 times 3.
So you're going to make, okay, so you're going to make this times 3 here, and you're going to make that times 3. So now the new fraction, so technically it's about 3/6 plus 2/6, right?
Yeah.
Which is how much?
3
plus 2 is how much?
5/6.
Excellent job. So now the new fraction would be 5/6. You see how easy that was? Omar found the LCD. So this is 3. This is 4. This is 5. This is 6. So 5, 6. And we're going to shade in how many pieces? 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Now it's the same thing, Omar. It says, can you do this without pictures? We got 1/3 and 1/6. Which fraction do I have to change now?
1/3.
To what?
2, 3 times 2
Yup.
is 6, and then 1 times 2.
Right. So to get from 3 to 6, you multiply by 2, which means 1 times 2 is on top. So I got 2/6 plus 1/6 is how much?
3/6.
Okay. There goes that. Now, if you did it with pictures, oh, it's not going to let me, so never mind. It might actually. Let me see. 1, 2. All right. Again, I'm sorry that it's a little crazy the way I drew it, but I'm trying my best here to try to make it as real life for you kids. All right. Uh-oh. I can't get back to my screen now. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. I don't know. Okay. So now we're going to go here. We're going to change this. We're going to go here. So now we have, if this is thirds, so it's 1/3 plus, we have here, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have 1/6. Now we say this would be 3, oops. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 6. So we have 1/3 plus 1/6. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, should be another 1/6 here, is equal to 3/6. All right. Now the next part's pretty easy. So on page 4, I think Taris is gonna go. These are pretty easy. You're just gonna give me the numerator and the denominator. And then page 5 is more of the different denominators. All right, so let's erase this now. Okay, so remember the skill of what you need to do. When the denominators are different, you have to find the least common denominator, which pretty much means you're skip counting, which is the same thing as LCM. Just when you're in the 4th and 5th grade, they teach you LCD. And now that you're in the older grades, you do that. Okay, so Taris, we're on page 4 now. Okay, I'm not gonna color them in for you. You're just gonna tell me what the fraction is, okay? So number one.
Miss Canela, what's the answer for number 6 again?
For number 6, the answer was 3/6, Leilani.
Huh?
3/6.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey,
All right,
what's the
Miss Charis, we got 2 9s plus 4 9s. How much is that?
6 9s.
So write 6. I'm not going to shade it. You guys can do that. Okay, obviously you're going to shade 6. The numerator tells you how many to shade. Number 2, Taris, 2 10s plus 7 10s.
9 10s.
This is pretty simple because the denominators are the same. Okay, Taris, number 3, 1/8 plus 2 8s.
3 8s.
Number 4, 3 10s plus 4 10s.
7 10s.
Beautiful. All right, now we're going to be subtracting. We got 7 8s minus 2 8s. If you take 2 of these away, how many are left?
5 8s.
Right, this is pretty straightforward, just reviewing the skill. Number 6, we got 4 8s minus 1 8. If I take 1 away, how many are left?
3 8s.
All right, 3/8. So please write that down while I see who needs to be omitted. All right. Any questions on what Taris just did? Pretty straightforward what she did. The reason why she kept the denominators because they're all the same numbers. You either add or subtract when the denominators are the same. Okay, you can go back and shade in the parts later. Again, you're going to shade in whatever the numerator is. That's how many pieces you shade in the fraction model. Here we're on in 3, because then there's on the bottom. We got to do 7 and 8. In 2, I see Lorenzo's still writing. I'm just going to start erasing some of it. I mean, it's the first, I think we're. All right, let's go do the bottom. You're not off the hook yet, Taris. We got to keep working. All right, Taris, we got number 7 and number 8. Can you read what the fractions say and tell us what we should be writing on our paper?
7 7s minus 4 7s.
Is
3 7s.
3/7. And 5 8s minus 2 8s. If I take 2 away, how many are left?
3 8s.
3 8. Any questions about that? Ask me now before we move on.
Nella, what was that sound?
Listen, I'm not interested in that right now. I don't know. We need to continue with our work, okay? So try to focus. You're doing a really good job, Lorenzo. Matter of fact, Lorenzo, can you read me page 5, the one that has Mr. Rez's take on it? I want to hear your voice. Can you read for me? Because you're a good reader.
Which one?
Page 5, okay? Everyone have this? Very 2 simple answers to write. All right, Lorenzo, so I'm going to pull it up on my screen. So,
You know what's that sound? Is because Lorenzo and Leilani are sitting together.
Oh, hi, Miss
Echo. Hi, love.
okay. That would make sense. Okay, thank you, Dean Lucy.
No problem.
All right, Lorenzo, can you read me problem 8 on page 5? This one's going to be a little tricky, but I'm pretty sure we can get through it together. Okay, Lorenzo, read to me. What does it say to do?
Mr. Rest has 1/4 of a cake, and Miss Camilla has half of a cake. How much cake do they have all together?
All right. Okay, I'm going to reread that, okay? It says that Mr. Rez has 1/4 of the cake, and I have a half a cake. How much cake do we have all together? So first of all, Lorenzo, before we do anything in the rest of you, when we see the word all together, what operation is that? Addition or subtraction?
Addition.
Addition. So technically I have to add 1/4 plus 1/2 to equal some fraction. Now, I notice that the denominators are different. So I have different denominators. Please mute yourself, okay, Leilani and Lorenzo? Different denominators means I have to find the least common denominator. Okay, this is the least common denominator. Now, I want to know if one denominator is 4, Lorenzo, and the other is 2, which fraction am I going to change? The 1/4 or the 1/2? Who can help them out?
Ah,
Yes, the 1/2. So we're going to keep the 1/4. And we're going to now change the 1/2 to a 4. So 2 times what gives me 4? 2. So now it becomes 2/4. Because we had 1/4, and now we want to make this become something over 4. So we have to know that 2 times 2 gives me 4. I'm going to actually rewrite this. Hold on. I don't like what I did here. Let me just recap this. Hold on. So we want to change. Okay. So we're going to change the 1/2 now. So I'm going to put a stamp on here. We're changing this fraction. We're changing the one that's in green. Okay. We're going to make that now. Oops. We're changing the one that says 1/2 with the green check mark into a denominator of 4. So in order to make that a denominator of 4, I have to multiply 2 times 2 to give me 4, which means 1 times 2 gives me 2. So that is how I arrived at 2/4. So 1/2 now is replaced by 2/4 because both the denominators are the same. So clearly now what we're physically doing, folks, is we're doing 1/4 plus, instead of the 1/2, it now gets replaced as 2/4, which is equal to, if you think about money, if you have 25 cents and then you add 50 cents, you now have 3/4 or 3/4. So Miss Canella and Mr. Rez have 3/4 of the cake together, which is the same as 75 cents. Because as a fraction, I want to show you something here. As a fraction, 1/4 is equal to, if you think about a quarter, 1 is the part, the whole is 4, which is the same as 25. And 2/4, which is 2/4, is the same as 50 cents. And if I add them up, I now get 3/4, which is the same as 75 cents. And there's a little money lesson for you. Because again, fractions is division. So 1/2 is always 0.25, 2/4 is always 0.5 or 0.50, and 3/4 is always 0.75. So really they ate 3/4 as a fraction or 0.75 of the cake altogether. Because the key word altogether meant add. Altogether means add. Questions, comments, concerns?
Miss,
Yes?
now I want cake.
Okay. All right, Lawrence, we're almost done. Then we're going to play a little kind of game to see who paid attention after before ELA comes on, because we're almost done. So again, you got to find the least common denominator. It means the denominators all have to be the same. Once you make the denominators the same, whatever you do to the denominator, you do to the numerator. Whatever, like just like when we had ratios, when you find equivalent ratios, whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom, and vice versa. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So I'm going to erase that now. All right. We're going to move up now to the next question on here. Again, if you do not do yesterday's exit ticket, I suggest you do it. Here, what I'm going to do to make it easier for you guys is we're going to turn our fractions into decimals.
May I read
Okay?
it?
Yes, you may, Lorenzo. Go ahead.
Brooke watched a YouTube video that featured a Filipino chicken recipe. He bought 5
5 and 3/4.
5 3/4 pounds of chicken from the local store. If the recipe calls for 2.5 pounds of chicken, how many pounds of chicken remain unused?
All right, so the key word here is unused. So we're going to either add or subtract, Lorenzo. What are we going to do? We want to find the difference.
Add.
To find the difference, we add?
Subtract, sorry.
There we go. We're going to subtract. Now, we're going to subtract 5 and 3/4 from 2 and 1/2. And this amount is going to represent the number of pounds of chicken. We're not done yet. We're just writing some work down. Unused. So when we subtract and find the answer, it's going to tell you how many pounds of chicken were not used. So in this question, just to make it easier, argument's sake, we're going to convert the fractions into decimals. So Lorenzo, if you have 3/4, how much money do you have, Lorenzo? If you have 3/4, Lorenzo, how much money do you have in quarters? 75, right? And if you have 1/2, which is the same as 2/4, you're going to actually have 50 or 0.50 cents.
Yeah.
So now I converted the fractions to decimals. So now I can say over here now in another box that 5 and 3/4 is the same as 5.75. And I want to subtract 2.5, which is the same as 2.5 or 2.50. I'm now going to physically subtract that to get the difference as Lorenzo mentioned a few seconds ago. So now I'm going to use a blue to stick it out, to stand it out for you. So you got to line up your decimals now. If you do not line up the decimals, you're going to get the wrong answer, unfortunately. So here we're going to subtract. 5 from 0 gives me 5. 7 from 5 give me 2. Bring down the decimal point, and 5 from 3 give me 2. So 3 and 25/100 is the same as 3 and 1/4. So 3 and 1/4 is the same as 3.25. And then we're going to label what that represents. That represents pounds of chicken that remains unused. So as you write that down, I just want to recap what we did here. What we did here, folks, was we converted the fraction into decimals, and then we subtracted. And when we subtracted, we received the decimal component. So 3 and 25/100 is the same as 3/4 because 25 is the same as 3/4. So 3 and 1/4 pounds of chicken that remain unused in the recipe, or Brooke's YouTube chicken recipe. So now we're almost done. We're going to go on to the exit ticket, and I suggest you pay very close attention because this is what you're going to see on Google Classroom that I already put there yesterday. Repeat, do not complete the exit tickets until after you come to math class. Because if you come to the math class, you get a better score. If you try to do it on your own, it's probably not going to be looking so good. And no, you cannot retake exit tickets because people ask. You only get a one-time chance. So please come to the class first. Thank you. All right, let's go do the last page. Got another participant. I don't know who this is. Salazar. Dean Lucy.
Yes.
I don't know. Are you just with somebody? Something with an S? Salazar? I don't know who that is.
Salazar.
Okay. We're just going to continue on.
Miss Canella, can I read both?
Sure. We do the corrections.
Okay. Directions. Solve the following problems. Express Express your answer to simplest form.
All right, so Leilani, number 1, we got 1/4 plus 2/4. Lorenzo, pay attention.
3/4.
Good. Please write 3 over
36.
3 over.
Miss Canela, that's Eric Martinez.
Okay, thank you. Leilani, 5/6 minus 2/6.
3/6.
Good. 3 over 6. All right, Leilani, what do we have to find when the denominators are different? Do you remember?
We gotta find the same multiples.
Yep, called the LCD.
Mhm.
Right?
What we're
All right.
gonna do is we're gonna do 5 times 2, which
Good.
is 10.
Good job.
Then we're gonna put the 2, and we're gonna plus it by 3/10. Then
Right. We
gives us the answer
Uh-huh.
of
is what?
5/10.
Wait, but you hold on a second because you said something so awesome. You said to make the 5 become a 10. So 5 times 2 is 10, which means I do what with the 2 and the 2? What operation? Then you had it.
KCF. Wait, no,
Are we dividing fractions or are we adding?
we're adding.
Right, you said 5 times 2 is 10, yes?
Mhm.
So then you got to multiply 2 times 2, right?
Mhm.
So now add.
That gives us 7/10.
Do we see that, Leilani?
Yes.
Careful, because I knew what you were saying. I just didn't hear it. All right. Now we're going to move on to number 4. So these are the exact questions that are on the exit ticket that is in Google Classroom. So when you're done with ELA, you go into Google Classroom and you pick the answer, and bam, you should get 100. Woo! All right, I'm going to erase that now because I'm going to need room for the bottom part.
Wait,
What's up? Talk to me, Lorenzo. What do you need?
I'm still on number 3. Oh.
Okay, I'll leave number 3 up. So again, your sister said it very perfectly that you have to make the denominators the same, Lorenzo. Lorenzo, write this down because I'm going to take it off. You got to focus, okay? Focus. 5 times 2 is 10 and 2 times 2 is 4. All right. Let me hit stop share here. All right, I'm just going
Next
to.
question I'll read, right?
Yes. Go ahead. Read me the bottom, please.
Dave and Sam take a tour of a chocolate factory in Hershey, PA. Hershey, PA. Dave brought 11/20 pounds of chocolate, and Sam purchased 7/10 pounds of chocolate. How many more pounds of chocolate did she?
All right, so the key word here is how many more than.
Denominator from 10 and 20.
All right, so the key word here is how many more than. So how many more? When you see the question, how many more, what operation is that, Leilani? Addition or subtraction?
That's subtraction.
Excellent. So Leilani, I'm going to subtract 11/20 from 7/20.
Huh?
Right? We have to subtract 11/20 because that's what Dave bought minus Sam's,
Mhm.
right? To figure out the difference, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you're with me, right? Pretty simple so far. Yeah, you're doing a really good job, kiddo. All right, so let's look at it here. We have 11/20. Now, what's really cool with fractions is, yeah, you got to find the least common denominator, the LCD, or the LCD or the LCM. But I'm going to show you a cool trick. If we know that a percent is a number out of 100, I know 20 times 5 is 100. So therefore, I multiply the numerator by the same number, which is 5, and I get 55, or 0.55. So if you were on your calculator to divide 11 by 20, you would get 0.55. If I wanted to divide on my calculator 7 by 10, I know that that is a 70% because you're getting 7 out of 10, and we know that every single time we have a fraction like this, 20 or 10 or 50, it's always out of 100. So this would be equal to 0.70 or 0.7. Now, if I was to subtract 0.55 from 0.70, I'm going to get negative 0.15. But when you look at the question, it says, how many more pounds of chocolate did Sam purchase than Dave? So I have to take the 70 from the 0.55. And that's going to be my new solution. So your number sentence is going to look something like this. The number sentence is going to look like this. The 0.70, which is the same as 7/10, is being subtracted from 0.55, which represents my 11/20, to equal the answer. Now, if you were to subtract 0.70 from 0.55, your answer is going to be 0.15 more pounds of chocolate. Now, we're not done yet because now we got to convert this decimal into a fraction. And now at school, you would have had the 7th grade calculator, but I'm going to help you out. 0.15. We know that it cannot be 18/20 because that's totally close to 100. So let's just knock off that answer because that makes no sense. It just doesn't make sense. So we're left with 4/20. We know that a percent is a number out of 100. So 20 times 5 is 100. So 4 times 5 is 20. Well, that's not true, so let's cross off C. We know that the denominator is 20. We want it to be 100. So 20 times 5 is 100, just like 2 times 2 is 4. So 4/20 is not the same as 0.15. So clearly on this question, we already got the answer. 3/20, and I'm going to show you why that's true. I'm going to put another box right here. So I'm going to actually go like this. I'm going to use pink. So 3/20. Actually, maybe I could handwrite it in. That might be better. I think I'm going to do the handwriting one, and then we're going to hit stop for today. So, okay. So if we have 3/20, and I want the denominator to be equal to 100. Oops, 100. I know that I have to multiply by 5 here, which means I have to multiply the top by 5, which gives me 15/100. So 15/100 is exactly what choice A is. Okay?
Yeah.
So there you have it. You need to have this work shown. That way you can get your full credit when you turn your packets into me on Thursday through Genius Scan. Remember, all the packets are due Thursday through Genius Scan. And every day you come, you earn a participation grade for participating and showing up. That's part of your grade. And the exit ticket. And then every Thursday, we come for 30 minutes, we review questions, and then we take the assessment together. So you should have no problem. You all should get 90s and 100s. Okay, I'm going to hit stop now. Now, I'm going to hit stop recording.